Why don't you have a seat right over here for me?
The Fakertarians, John Hudak and company, absolutely are entirely scum.
I don't trust these motherfuckers at all, and they're absolute fucking scumbags.
Good night, Moon. Good night, Moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon.
It sucks, okay? Because Hudak has become like this annoying fucking bugaboo in the movement, right? Mm-hmm. But I have a soft spot for John Hudak. Like, honest to God, I do, right? Like,
a little bit of context is important. If you don't know who John Hudak is, if you don't know who Fakertarians are and what they are about, it helps in this context, because these are the people who have been going after Tom Woods for years, specifically to discredit him.
I know some good games we could play, said the cat. I know some new tricks, said the cat in the hat. A lot of good tricks. I will show them to you. Uh-oh. Your mother will not mind at all if I do.
Uh-oh.
Me and that guy will exchange words when the time comes, because I think we need to talk about that in person and certainly hash that out.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this surprise stream of the Fakertarians podcast that's apparently not actually a podcast episode. I'm your host, John Hudak, along with Jeremy Kantorowicz, Andy Craig, Dr. Jebediah Woke Kraka, and Darcy Flower. So we're going to be talking today about the Libertarian Party National Convention, which for some reason is still going on. I don't know why the party's still exists, but it's still going. So for anyone who missed, no, I'll give a little bit of a recap here. So for anyone who missed it, it's basically been a full Mises Caucus sweep this whole time. Angela McArdle.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Oh. Yeah.
We just had a pop in.
Alec.
Hello, Alec. Welcome to the show. Well, hey,
There you
John, you know what? Don't get frustrated, because look at the shit show that is the Libertarian National Convention. Any little mistake we make is nothing in comparison to this garbage.
So Angela McArdle won with almost 70% of the vote. Josh Smith barely beat Eric Radzop on the third ballot and then beat Noda on the fourth. Tim Hagopian beat Tim Hagen, something like 72% to something, and I hope that almost 30% of the vote was worth it for selling out to oppose the motion to vote for a predator. But Karen Ann beat John Wilford, and all of the Mises at-large candidates won. So I don't know if the Judicial Committee results are back in yet. I believe they just voted to remove the abortion plank, according to the comments in our Twitch stream right now. Mises has basically been voting as a block, and Karen Ann's been doing her normal crazy person routine. So, guys, what are we thinking is notable here? I have some thoughts I'm going to give later, but
I'm just going to jump in real quick and say, you know what? We're just kind of kicking the dead right now. We're just beating the dead. The Libertarian Party is dead. It's the 50th anniversary, so it's 50 years old. Died a very early death. Can be expected by the way some of these motherfuckers live. So, you know, when the Nazis take over, the party is dead, and that's it.
John, I have to take exception to the word you used. When you said Karen Ann is doing her routine, that sounds like you're saying she's acting. She's not acting. She is genuinely fucked in the head.
Tough to disagree with that one.
Speaking of our good old buddy Karen Ann, one of the most amusing highlights of this has been how she managed to plunk herself on stage right next to the podium so that she's in the camera shot all the time.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, managed to should be like in air quotes.
Yeah.
Or behind a mosh too, when he was giving his speech.
Oh yeah, that was our last batch of last-minute resignations in protest from the LNC. Laura Ebke and Matt Buffman, who are both good people and friends, they took that as their opportunity to, 12 hours before their term ends or something, send in a resignation saying this was embarrassing. And it was ridiculous. I saw a lot of people commenting on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a good call. So, Jeremy, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I know you had mentioned earlier, was it like 6 or 7 resignations total?
Yeah, I was going back and trying to count them on for the whole term for this LNC since the 2020 convention. And I think it's 7 resignations total, if I have that right, plus 1 removal. But I might be off 1 or 2 either way on that. Honestly, a lot of them came and went as in alternate seats, but most of those were people resigning in protest. Obviously, Joe Bishop Henchman and Francis Wendt was Tucker Coburn. Yeah, there was a few others like that.
So we're going to get into
pushing a third or something like that, maybe more of the LNC that was elected.
Josh Barton brings up a really good point here. The LMPC, we're going to make it, the Libertarian Party again, and then they just, get rid of the abortion plank. They make all of these moves that put it right in alignment with the alt-right that they're always denying that they're in alignment with. And that's exactly what we have now. We have an alt-right authoritarian party. We no longer have a party of libertarian principles.
The timing on the abortion thing is great too. It might have passed by with less notice if it wasn't, on everybody's mind at the moment. The Supreme Court's about to overturn Roe, so it's about to become a live policy issue in these states again. And the LP. There's always been some disagreement on that, but I feel pretty strongly about it, and it's always been kind of a pretty good majority libertarian position to be pro-choice. Or to be, pro-life, but against the government banning it, to give people who parse it that way their credit. But no, I'm assuming the same thing's I'm assuming something similar is going to happen with, they're going to shoot down or just not take up and not pass the more open borders immigration plank. And they want to, delete the 50-year-old, it's always been in there. We condemn bigotry as irrational and repugnant, which, by the way, if you haven't yet, I think you can still get your Fakertarian t-shirt with that on
it. Yes, you can.
We do have that up. So we're going to talk a lot today about what should go on with the Libertarian Party moving forward. I mean, I know some of us I think are still members. I know Andy's long gone. Not sure about everyone else here, but
I'm gone.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely gone. I'm a Democrat now. I joined the Democratic Party just to own the right. So, it's like they always scream, it's all of you lefties who made me a Nazi. Well, all of you Nazis made me a Democrat. Go Mama Hillary. Mama Hillary for everything.
Gonna vouch for.
I know Minnesota, we got the Legal Marijuana Now party.
I joined.
They've actually split. There's been 2 legal marijuana parties on the ballot at the same time there. I don't know.
I can't remember what name is it. There's Legal Marijuana Now, which has a little bit of a presence. I know I think Vermont, Archie, if that sounds familiar, it and then a couple other places, but they actually usually get a pretty decent showing here. There is... I can't remember what the other party's name is, but we don't have party registration here in Minnesota anyway. So
I wanted to talk a little bit about what I think should happen going forward. So here's what should happen. I'm not leaving libertarian circles, but I am leaving the Libertarian Party. I can't, in good conscience, support a party that panders to reactionaries and is ruled by a pack that essentially operates as a cult. I'll be changing my voter registration to no party affiliation today. And I encourage everyone in states where that's possible to do the same. I encourage everyone who opposes this reactionary takeover to cancel their National Libertarian Party memberships, because the Libertarian National Committee will make an absolute mockery of libertarian values and what we stand for. Reactionaries who tweet about Black people owing America on MLK Day, or who write that bigots' rights are human rights, and who support unleashing the police and immigration restrictions will be what people think of when they think of libertarians. The problem's already bad enough, but it's about to get a lot worse. All support should be cut. Do not give them any of your money. Do not give them any of your time. Do not give them any of your votes. They wanted to be in control. Let them bleed themselves dry. If your state party's outwardly anti-Mises, I can understand at least at some point sticking around at that level. But try to get them to disaffiliate from national. But I won't personally be supporting any Libertarian Party candidates unless they're outwardly anti-Mises. We have voices, and we have the power to support candidates who embody our ideals. Do not give one bit of your support to those who are too cowardly to oppose a hostile takeover by right-wing reactionaries. And the fence sitters, those who tell us now that we should unite with the Mises Caucus after everything that has happened, could have tried to stop this if they wanted to. People like Spike Cohen could have galvanized the anti-takeover crowd and given us major figures to rally behind. Instead, they cowardly bit their tongues, letting good people be discouraged by attempts by the Mises Caucus to pander to the alt-right. And now they tell us that we need to get behind a party run by people who put up a Senate candidate in New Hampshire who rattles off race and IQ statistics, by people who say that wanting the United States to be a white nation is simply a different cultural preference, by people who've gotten behind a Trump-supporting, pro-ICE and pro-border wall candidate in Nevada who wears a thin blue line t-shirt, by people who support Tom Woods, a predator who groomed a 15-year-old girl and has been caught in multiple lies about it, by the head of the Mises PAC, Michael Heiss, who personally nominated a man convicted of whipping out his penis in front of little kids for Pennsylvania governor, who is also a Trump supporter and Rudy Giuliani's star witness at the Four Seasons Total Landscaping press conference, by people who invited an anti-Semitic Holocaust denier to speak at their event, with the new LP chair deeming him a truth seeker for asking about the Jews running Hollywood, by people whose prospective presidential candidate buddies up to white nationalists, telling them that he sympathizes with them and tips his hat to them for triggering the right people. You know what I have to say to that call for unity? Hell no. No unity with Paleos.
Fuck yeah, John.
Damn.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. And well, you know, one thing I will say is that, I mean, I know all of y'all were kind of with us, but the reason I left, the reason Joe left a year ago, is because the writing was on the wall. Everyone, and you know, I still have a lot of good friends who were like, well, we're going to go to Reno, we're going to fight it out. And as much as I understand that impulse, it was like it was over already. It was like Trump trying to overturn the election. The delegate selection was done. It was over. They were going to have 600 to 700 lockstep people, and we knew that. And I mean, I take, you know, one silver lining of this is you look at the numbers and just anecdotally, once around that time, and I don't want to say that there was like a group of us, and I don't speak for Joe for sure, but around that time, since there was kind of a more of an exodus, it looks like about half of the people who had still been with us in 2020 left the party, didn't go to Reno. It's going to be more quitting now. So, you know, I mean, save yourself. Don't stay in the burning building. I mean, that this is going to get worse. It's going to get uglier. They are going to be involved in some very, very disgusting things over the next couple of years that you don't want to be part of, that you don't want that on your name. And as for states, it's either get out or you're chained to the sinking ship. You know, state affiliates, if they want to save themselves, they got to get out now, because we've already seen what Mises is going to do to them. They're going to come in and pull this bylaws violating nonsense about, well, we don't like what you did, so we're going to recognize this, you know, gaggle of Mises people we got together, and they're the real state party now. You know, the only way to get ahead of that is to cut your ties to the LNC, which you can do. You can leave. You can keep your ballot access. You can still be the Libertarian Party of, you know, New Mexico or Idaho or Ohio or wherever. And if you have ballot status, you will keep it. it's but short of that, there's no working within this. Joe posted again his story that he told when he resigned, which is the guy who was at the bar, the punk bar, and sees one nice guy with Nazi shit on his vest walks in and gets kicked out, and the bartender explains, if you don't kick the first one out, then more come. And that's what happened to the Libertarian Party. That's what it is now. And so I can't, I hear Justin Amash and I hear other people talking about this vision that I shared and fought for a long time, of a kind of, mainstream classical liberal, really growing electorally viable party, putting up people like Gary Johnson and Justin Amash, winning elections like Marshall Burt in Wyoming. But you can't do that from within this. You can't be associated with this stuff and expect that to happen. So it's dead end. My 2 cents is get out. I changed my voter registration to independent. I emailed the national party staff and told them cancel my membership and take me off your lists, which is you can do if you want. I encourage it. There's no, even if you could stick around and fight it out and take it back, there's nothing left there that's worth it. There's no reclaiming the moldy corpse in a few years is not worth anything. So that's where I'm at.
No, I mean, I'm with you there. And I just saw something came in from our Twitch stream here saying that, so obviously I was watching the convention earlier, but I'm not watching it now. They just deleted "we condemn bigotry as irrational and repugnant" and replaced it with some language Spike suggested. So
thanks.
I'm really curious what
Spike.
that language is.
We saw we
had a little bit of a leak of it earlier.
We oppose violating people's rights on the basis.
Yeah, we uphold and defend the rights of every person, regardless of their race, ethnicity, and other aspect of their identity.
So it totally got rid of.
They couldn't bring themselves to name sex, gender, orientation, or anything. That had to all fall under etc. to sneak it past them.
So they didn't keep in anything about bigotry because they want to bring bigots into their party. Yeah.
And
it's pretty obvious.
That phrase has been in the platform since 1976 or something like that. I mean, it's it's right. It's been.
Yeah, no, it's a joke. I mean, yeah.
I'm glad they removed it though, because it just makes it it's just so undeniable. Like it's vindication. This is exactly what we said they were going to do, and here they are. They couldn't stand to allow the racism is bad sentence in the platform to stand.
Yeah, I mean, they have the plausible deniability is out the window at this point. I mean, they even said it in that leaked document. They're like, we need to appeal to more of the liberty movement or something. Like, who do you think they're talking about? Who's attracted to getting rid of language condemning
They're talking
bigotry?
about Ryan Dawson and Nick Fuentes. They will both be candidates in 2024 for the LP. I'll put money down right now.
I don't think Fuentes will, but it would not surprise me if Dawson's in the party soon. Not at all.
And I think I've seen like at least 2 of the fucking. I almost called them Toad Gang, but they might as well be called the Toad Gang, the Tower Gang. I think I saw at least 1 or 2 of them say, "Oh, I'm a life member now." Blah 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 blah. Yeah, fuck off.
Those guys are such scum, such sleaze. I've never met people. Well, I have met people that sleazy and scummy in my life, and you know what I do? I avoid them. So there's no way I'm going to be in a party whose leadership represents this scum, these absolute maggots of humanity. I mean, I look at them and all I see is like wannabe felled out frat boy who just can't wait to put his date rape drugs in the next female that he comes upon, because that's exactly the type of filth they all are. Every one of these fucking scumbags. That Jose guy, fuck you, Jose. Fuck you. Sending me a picture of you doing pull-ups like I give a fuck. You homoerotic fuck stain. Go to hell. The entire Tower Gang. You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see a couple of, I don't know, we'll say black people because you hate them so much. Fly an airplane right into your little tower. Fly it right into your homes and watch all of you just scatter about like the filth and shit that you are. I'm done.
Damn, tell us how you really feel.
Oh, it's good to hear from Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Happy
It's still so
Declaration of
hilarious.
Independence, Joe.
It's
Speaking
still
of
so
happy
hilarious
birthday,
that,
Joe, who did not. Happy birthday, Joe cost Eric Rodsip the vice chairmanship of the
it
Libertarian
totally did,
National
because if they endorsed him, he would have won.
Yeah,
it was that close.
He still almost won. He still came in.
Yeah.
He's still hilariously close.
Matt Jordan says
70% Mises convention, and Josh Smith had to go to a fourth ballot to beat Noda.
But he finally has chair in his title.
Yeah,
How many times did it take?
3.
And just how drunk
more
was
than
that
3.
scumfuck the other night?
More than 3, right?
I think it was 3 times.
It was once for state in California and 2 for national.
Oh yeah. Well, technically 3 for national, because when they were putting the new chair in, he
he
ran.
He tried to run this time before.
Yeah, and I think Eric actually had him as his first choice or second. I don't remember which, but which is kind of ironic because Josh went on like a whole crusade against Eric because he was mad.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh almost ran for chair this time around too, and I think he had at least put out feelers. I think he had actually already announced that he was going to.
I think he had announced it because it was all very public when, like, a week later, Angela did, and he was.
Yeah, they ended up.
etc.
They ended up endorsing Angela without even telling Josh about it first.
Oh no, trouble in paradise. Well,
and they almost replaced him as chair before the chair candidate before the 2020 convention. They were talking about a few different people for that.
And John, I want to go back for a moment. When you say McArdle, for anyone who isn't familiar, you're talking about Angela McArdle, who now got elected to some shit. But, and it's good to see that somebody in a high-ranking position of the Libertarian Party also believes that maritime law, sovereign citizen nonsense is a way out of all of your legal defenses. So enjoy that. When's the Libertarian Party going to start flying? Right, as a paralegal, there's a video floating around of her, and I'm not even sure when it actually happened.
See if I can find that.
Yeah, I saw it today. I didn't see a timestamp or any date stamp on it, but she's basically just repeating verbatim the sovereign citizen line of how to get out of traffic stops. Like, does Angela McArdle also believe that there's like $1 million hidden somewhere that she's supposed to find because it's given to you by the United States government at birth? You know what? That could be the case. Maybe Heist, the leprechaun-looking bitch that he is, maybe he does hide that money on behalf of the government, and then you go find it later in like a little quest or a hunt, and that brings the whole sovereign citizenship thing back into the Libertarian Party. All makes sense now.
Okay, let me see. I have the video of her talking about it pulled up on Facebook, but I also don't want to inadvertently show any chats I'm in. So,
you
don't want to pull up Fuentes?
Word for it that she's into gold fringe on the flag nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, courtroom is a ship.
That's
Capital letters.
Not surprising.
And she talked about.
I'm not driving. I'm traveling.
She mentioned the Uniform Commercial Code, which has nothing to do with any of that, but she called it what did she say? She called it the UCC Commercial Code, so it's the Uniform Commercial Code.
ATM machine.
Really knows her shit there.
An automatic ATM machine.
Yeah.
Automatic ATM machine.
The comment just went down. I did want to give Joe a shout out for his thing. I can testify to this. I've seen it. I know people. If you are interested, Joe, much more accomplished than I am, works here in DC as a think tank executive. He knows the network. If you're looking for a job at a professional libertarian organization that is not overrun by Nazis, Joe's the guy to talk to, and he can help you make it happen.
I accidentally just did that.
And that's a good point you bring up. That's okay. And it's good to hear from Joe Henchman, because he, like so many of the others, you sitting in here, and I know, John, you had said earlier on that you're going to remain in libertarian circles, but remove yourself from the party. Yeah. That's what I plan to do too, because the libertarian circles that I've run in for so many years have granted me some great acquaintances and some fantastic friends like y'all sitting in here today. I've met some fantastic people, and I think there's still plenty of room for all of us blue-pilled woke crackers to get out there and do some good without all of the Nazi leanings behind us, which is what the LP has now.
So
speaking of Nazis.
Oh, what were you gonna say, Archie? Okay, you give your point, and then I gotta say something.
I just want to say, Angela thanking Pete is
Mm.
perfect. Like that says it all. If you know about
Right.
Pete, then you know that this image really speaks 1,000 words, or I should say more like 14,000 words, about exactly what just went down.
Yeah.
Pete being approving of this is definitely not a good move for Liberty or the Libertarian Party. And Pete, if you ever do listen to this, go fuck yourself with the biggest object nearest you.
Okay, so I downloaded the McArdle video, so it's not going to show any of my Facebook.
Oh, John froze.
John did freeze. It was because of all of those nasty tabs he just closed out of.
John, if John is frozen, then we need to read Titanoboa, right?
Can you hear me now?
He's back.
Yeah,
He's
we're
back.
good. I almost had Titanoboa up.
Here we go.
John, are you with us?
In a weird territory here, but I'm going to just do a brief breakdown, and then I'm actually more curious to hear you flesh it out. UCC commercial code actually governs a lot more of our activity than we think it does, but we're too wrapped up in what we just see happen on a regular basis at the courthouse, which in California would be California Civil Code, California Code of Procedure. But UCC commercial code is, if you're smart, you dig into it. It's something that you can use to get yourself out of trouble and regain your personal sovereignty and your financial independence. There's some weird stuff that happens with maritime law too. I practice law without a license. 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 I practice law without a license.
Well, that was fun. I didn't know that last part was going to be in there, but
I enjoyed that when the Anon pops in. That's great fun.
Well, so glad we the party traded a guy who eats the IRS's lunch first in court and is done Supreme Court and all that for a paralegal who believes in gold fringe on the flag.
Maritime law.
Yeah.
That's how the LP is going to be prominent.
From what's the character's name from King of the Hill?
Del Gribble.
Yeah.
Oh, we're basically the party of Del Gribble, only Del Gribble wasn't so racist.
That's true. Dale Gribble. I would take Dale Gribble over the Mises Caucus any day.
Oh, me too. I'll take a very decent conspiracy theorist over these individuals any day of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, speaking of conspiracy theories, Maj tweeted out something like, to paraphrase, conspiracy theorists are usually right. So I quote tweeted him, well, that's an interesting epistemology. Most conspiracy theorists are beyond wrong. Like, it's laughable how wrong they are. Like flat earthers are more sane than most conspiracy theorists.
I mean, they're probably in there.
Talking about.
Well, they are, but I mean, they talk about NASA hiding the truth, but I mean,
well,
I'm talking about lizards being inside the globe. You know what I mean? That kind of conspiracy theory shit.
Well, you mean the Jews
next level stuff.
Speaking of the LP's long-running problem with, this is one of those pre-Mises things that was always ridiculous in the LP. There was a ton of 9/11 truthers for the past 20 years, but I think in 04, maybe 06, somewhere in there, they had the Apollo moon landing guy, a hoax guy, speak. He's the one that, if you might remember the video of Buzz Aldrin punching him.
I remember that.
So yeah, that guy spoke at a Libertarian National Convention once.
Really?
This is back when Heist would have been in third grade. So
maybe he'll be invited back now.
Wait. Isn't he still in third grade?
Well,
just to clarify,
leprechauns don't age.
That was one thing that. So one thing Brian Doherty's piece mentioned that kind of on that point, he mentioned that for all the problems with Ron Paul, and we all familiar with them, he did not do the edgelord thing when he was running in 2008 and 2012. And you know, one thing that's occurred to me, like I was in high school in 2007. I was, you know, at the early end of kind of catching that wave. But most of these people are too young. They weren't actually there for the Ron Paul campaigns. They have this image of it that is very different from the people who were actually there and went through it. And remember what happened when the newsletters came out and went through that. But like these are not the Ron Paul revolutionaries. These are kids that were in, you know, middle school and younger at most when all that was happening. And they just if Ron Paul had been out there talking like they do now, if Ron Paul had been running on the newsletters basically, which is what they're doing now, you know, he wouldn't have even made this stage. He would have been, you know, he would have gotten 1% instead of the 5% they're so proud of.
Yeah, there definitely are a lot of people in the Mises Caucus who see the newsletters as more of a feature than a bug. Like I've seen people legitimately will be like, "Oh, that's actually right. It's just the woke people are mad about it."
Well, Dave Smith himself argued in favor of Unleash the Police.
Yeah, that was Rothbard. That was the
Yeah, that was right around the newsletters though.
Yeah, it was right around the newsletters.
They were all writing the same
yeah,
stuff.
it was all very intertwined at that time because I remember my early days in libertarianism kind of stumbling upon that stuff, but I wanted to turn a blind eye to it, which is what I did for many, many years. It's like, oh, that must have just been, you know, a misstep on their part. And then you look at it right now, that misstep, that crack that was created by all of that nonsense that was coming out in that time period, late 80s, early 90s, look what it is materialized in today. And that's the thing. A lot of these guys were just kids when that happened. They come along, they're over on 4chan, they get ingrained with all the Nazi ideology. Then they see these writings that we all say are garbage, and they grab onto them as though it's the holy grail of libertarianism. And I think that's exactly where the flip-flop has happened.
Yeah. I mean,
this is all straight up, you know, when Rothbard was lamenting that David Duke would not be the next governor of Louisiana.
Well, they finally got David Duke.
Well, that's not actually a
now. He is no longer irrational and repugnant in the new and improved Libertarian Party. So come on over, David Duke.
I wonder what would happen.
Oh, I bet Duke will be there.
Like if David Duke tried to join the Mises Caucus, what would they do? I really want to know. I know in the a year or two ago they would have said no, for sure. But now I don't know. It might still be it might still they'd be like, no, he's a socialist and just kind of not care about the. It's like when they're like, yeah, we can't be Nazis, we're against socialism, and it's like, okay, that's not it's not what we're talking about here.
It's like Tom Woods always going like, we don't wear Hugo Boss coats. Nah, dude, that ain't what makes a Nazi. It's all about ideology and groomer.
Speaking of notable Nazis, Cernovich retweeted. It was Zach Weissmuller, who's there with Reason, filmed an interview with Jeremy Kauffman, where Kauffman said the SPLC piece was all lies, and Cernovich retweeted that. So, you know, there you go. Welcome to Pizzagate.
I could see them. They would definitely invite Cernovich in. I mean, they're
Why wouldn't that whole. Yeah, I don't think they would actually go as far as Duke or Spencer. I could totally see Cernovich speaking at the 24 convention.
I mean, they're into those right wing online people. I guess that's the best way to describe them. Like Tim Pool.
Not Charlie Kirk though, because you know that'll get the Groypers mad. Charlie Kirk's reasonable.
But people like Tim Pool, who don't really seem to have like any kind of overarching libertarian ideology. Right. They love that guy. He was talking yesterday, or a few days ago, I think he was referring to the Texas shooting, saying like, this is what happens when you defund the police. But they'll love this guy. I mean, it's all about like this weird internet subculture. It's not actually an ideology thing. It's like, it's honestly an own the lib subculture. That's really what it comes down to. Dave Rubin, Tim Pool, Jordan Peterson, all of them.
Yeah.
Well, did you notice in the chat the other night, in the YouTube chat on the convention stream, there were several people who kept like encouraging people at the convention to drop the N-word at the microphone. I mean, that's what they think is funny. That's what they think is humorous, and
I heard
so juvenile.
I cannot confirm this. Obviously, I wasn't there. I heard there were people in the audience yelling "faggot" during the chair debate.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and we've certainly. I mean, I've been the target of that online plenty, and I've heard of worse.
I got called that on Josh when I went on Josh's show. Actually, that lobster guy that can't go like 10 seconds without dropping a racial slur. He explodes. Or
That
something
guy.
Like that.
I want to address Top Lobster for a second.
Oh God,
you're trash. You're absolute trash. You're untalented trash. Stop fucking your mom.
Oh, I love
Hey,
you.
Brian, don't kink shame.
Hey, look, I don't kink shame much, but if you're fucking your mom, you're Top Lobster.
That's not cool to kink shame, man. Top has what I'm saying is you don't have to go there to talk about Top Lobster. He has so many faults. You don't have to pick on that particular one. That's all I'm saying.
I still
you'll know who these people are.
It's a target-rich environment when you talk about moral failure in Top Lobster.
He's the guy who complained about how athletes were protesting because of their Jew owners.
That guy, yeah.
That was my first thing with him. I thought it was because when I went on Josh's show, it was supposed to be to like debate Josh and all that, but Josh was too scared to do that.
Debate me, bro.
Yeah, so he kicked me off like 2 minutes in, but they brought on all like the Tower Gang people, like Lobster and whatever, like Reed Coverdale and all those asshats. But I just thought it was so funny how like they talked about how they owned me by kicking me off, but literally they just like muted me and like threw slurs at me and were like, "Yeah, we beat him." Like you guys, I would have stayed on with them. Like I would have been like, "Okay, guys, let's do this."
Do you want to see my impression of Reed Coverdale?
Yeah. That's his whole podcast.
Yeah, that is on podcast.
He loves Ryan Dawson.
He loves him. Oh, they're best friends, man. They're always like just tweeting things back and forth, like about the game or whatever. Like they're just buddies. I mean, ain't nothing like having a neo-Nazi for a friend. And I want to go back to what Archie said a moment ago. You're right, Archie. I shouldn't have made that comment. I shouldn't kink shame like that. There's no reason for that. My question is his mom hot? Because I'll fuck her.
Exciting stream we got going on here.
Damn.
Okay, let's what are we moving to next here?
I was gonna say, actually, Radley Balko had tweeted out something from Reason's article today.
How they want to appeal to podcast frat bros.
One of the major goals of the Mises Caucus is to make the LP appealing to the wider liberty movement that is largely not currently here with us. The basic vibe they are seeking is online young men into edgy comedic podcasts. And somebody actually commented.
Is that a quote from someone, or was that a?
It's in the no. It was just Brian's description, but that's accurate.
Yeah. And somebody actually replied. Quick research shows the single least likely demographic group to turn out to vote are non-religious males under 30 who lean slightly Republican.
You know what their rebuttal to that is? Their rebuttal to everything like that is, well, it worked for Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that Trump was a household name celebrity for 30 years. Everybody in the country knew who Donald Trump and what his shtick was.
Right.
I'm sorry, Dave, but you're not Donald Trump. I'm pretty sure
Donald Trump.
Yeah, but he knows Joe Rogan.
Donald Trump is much funnier than Dave Smith.
Well, that's true. Trump is genuinely funny. That's one of the things you have to understand about him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's hilarious. Never once have I laughed at anything Smith said.
Well, that time he called Stefan Molyneux great was pretty funny.
I've laughed at things that Smith has said.
Never told
but to be clear, he didn't mean them as a joke.
Yeah, we're laughing at him, not with him.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that's clear. Like, I have laughed at things that Dave Smith has said, but not his comedy routines.
Never.
It's so funny though how like. What were you gonna say, Brian?
I was gonna say he's about as funny as when Cantwell was doing his stand-up.
I never got the pleasure of seeing that, but I'm sure.
Wait a minute, Cantwell tried stand-up?
Yeah, you didn't know that? when I was first introduced.
These guys have all tried.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, when I first met him at PorkFest back in 2010, I think it was, I was introduced to him as, quote, the Libertarian comedian.
Okay, so this was roughly the same time that Tom Woods, the League of the South founder, and now we know groomer, said that Cantwell was saying things that he couldn't say.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that was a few years. That was more like 2014, I think. That was
So that's roughly 2010, 2014. It all bleeds together.
Yeah, but and it doesn't matter because it was very well known just what a piece of shit Cantwell was by that point anyway. He'd gotten banned from PorkFest and everything else. So yeah, Woods knew what he was doing even when he had him on his show. I think any bit of excuse, they can go ahead and keep making their excuses all they want, but we know what the truth is. The truth is right there. It's the reality of the situations that happened in the past and continue to happen today. So no matter what their excuses are, they can live in their little lies if they want, their little delusions, be happy with it. You know, I mean, go ahead, live your lies. You fucks.
So for Facebook user here, we either have someone doing some copy pasting or we have Libertarian Party at-large candidate James Ogle in our audience today.
Oh, it would be wonderful to see James. It does look like a James post, but
I blocked James. That is absolutely James. And well, congratulations on your 9%.
Did he really get 9%?
Yeah,
for at large. Yeah,
that's
he was like red corner. Yes,
he was. Like I think he was tied for last.
LNC members who were running got like Whitney and John Phillips and whatnot. They were like at 20-something%.
Yeah,
I think John was under 20%.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I want to say this about James Ogle. Yeah, good job, James. And congratulations to Daryl Perry for putting up a wonderful nomination for James Ogle today. It was electric.
I haven't watched it. I'll have to go back and check that out.
It was pretty fantastic. And you knew it was Daryl on stage. And I also want to make a comment to all the YouTube users and commenters who were talking about Daryl gaining a lot of weight. Have you looked at Michael Heisey? Have you looked at him? He's like a big doughy cupcake.
Oh.
He's like a doughy cupcake of a leprechaun. So don't be calling other people fat.
Can we go back to Matt's comment?
Which one?
Or question, rather. Yes, you can Google that. It's well established. Tom Woods was there when the League of the South was founded. He is a founding member.
Yep.
He claims it wasn't the same type of organization at the time, but his claims in reality are not always quite similar.
Yeah, he likes to bend the truth a lot, let's just say.
What's
as
the
we've seen
liar?
with the recent as we've seen with the recent scandal.
Yeah, exactly. He lies.
Tom Woods chipper.
Hello, everyone, James.
Oh, we got our biggest fan, Gregory Burton, is in the comments.
Yeah,
he loves us.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, it's old Gregory Burton.
Hi, Greg. Do you want to come on?
Greg the Peg. That's what I call him when I'm fucking him up the ass.
Greg, do you want to come on right now?
Yeah.
Greg the Peg, you want to come on?
Well, we'll
come
see.
On, Greg the
Peg. There's a little bit of delay, so give him some time to answer.
I just want to keep yelling at him.
I just want to start yelling out like random like parliamentary stuff, like point of order now. It's like stuck in my head.
Dilatory.
That's what I thought.
Robert's Rules, page 954.
Point of personal
I hate to boost your views. Like you're going to boost anything.
Sorry,
yeah, Gregory Burton, you can't even boost your cock. You cock.
Wow, whoa. I think you can get Viagra. Anyone can boost their own cock, man. Like, that's modern technology.
Yeah, buy yourself a pump, Gregory. Your handle, thank you.
Like, we've got robots now, okay? Like, this is the 21st century.
Yeah,
bro.
okay, Archie.
Get
Like
with the
Gregory,
program.
like Gregory Burton could even afford that. He can't even afford a freaking fleshlight.
Rental. Not ownership.
Back to the convention for a second. No more dips.
As delightful as this diversion is.
So I want to address this comment that she's Tony's girlfriend. Like to know the thoughts of keeping kept out of the debate. So so the convention in general, they just wanted to. The Mises just wanted to ram their entire slate through. They didn't want people to hear from other candidates. It wasn't with Mises, it's not like they don't tell people like, okay, listen to these candidates and see what their values are, and if they're a principled libertarian, vote for them. They say, okay, this guy's on our slate, he's caucus approved, and vote for him. I mean, that's besides vice chair where they didn't. I don't know the judicial committee results yet. Besides vice chair where they didn't officially endorse someone, all of their endorsements have won, and it's been a very similar around 70% of the convention the entire time. They're literally just voting as a block.
And my point I have to make about that is a lot of people who were going to Reno planning to fight it, etc. I saw this over and over again watching the live stream. They were still stuck in how it used to work. How it used to work at an LP national convention was that, yeah, some people would come knowing who they were already backing and going to vote for, but it was genuinely kind of whoever showed up, and it was persuasion. You would win conventions on persuasion at the floor, and that's not at all how it's been. It's been changing for a few years, but you saw it really dramatically this time in particular. This was a lockstep block that was going to vote their instructions pretty well no matter what. They barely lost on the replacing Whitney with Ken thing after Ken stood up and begged them not to, and then Ken ended up chairing anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's 65 to 70% across the board for every single one of these results. They're not listening to debates. They wouldn't even let somebody speak for NODA, which is like the, sacred libertarian tradition is we have NODA and you can vote for NODA and speeches. Famously, Nick once won giving a speech for NODA against the incumbent, and NODA won. And I forget which year that was and which chair it was, but it's happened. They were just ramming things through, and that's clearly what's still happening here tonight with the platform stuff. The math was not there. There was no, there might be 10% in the middle that are swingable on some of these things, but it doesn't matter if they have 60% that's, they're that's solid and gonna, it doesn't matter if you move the needle 10% from 70 to 60. And that's kind of part of why the whole thing was just, it was doomed from the start. The idea that we're going to show up and win it, and we're going to persuade these people and change their mind, and no, not all the Mises people are that bad. Maybe we can win them over for this or that, or we put our nicest, least controversial person up that everybody loves, and they're still getting stopped 20%.
No, they're a cult. They're voting like a cult. I mean,
can we bring
the leader?
Michael Weems' last comment back up? The one about how they will protest in 24 about not being allowed into debates. So this is totally Mises Caucus modus operandi. They will use any technique they need to ensure their power and ensure their control, and they will turn around and they will argue against that same thing being used against them. And they will do this 100% of the time, and they will do this with no sense of irony, no sense of hypocrisy, no sense of morality or principle or logic or rationality or anything.
Yeah, I mean, one good example of that, it ended up not mattering because the opposition fell apart so much, there wasn't really that much of a fight. But in their prep document, their instructions, they were on the credentials report, not to get too in the weeds on Robert's rules, but basically they were arguing the exact opposite of the position they had taken in 2020 when they were kicking out all the not in-person remote delegates, about how, well, if they're challenged, we have to vote on them state by state and versus not. So, I mean, that's just, these people who think that you can play, we got to play within the rules and the LP bylaws. They don't give a shit about that. They will run roughshod over whatever rule they want, and they've done that this weekend. They will do it on the LNC. If you're in a state party and you think the national party bylaws or the judicial committee is going to protect you from this, it's delusional.
Well, the judicial committee is just going to be packed with Mises people who are just going to ram everything through. It's not like there's not going to be some objective person in there. It's going to be, okay, vote against this.
No more Judge Vermin Supreme.
No more Vermin Supreme.
So speaking of Judge Vermin Supreme, may I be indulged to read this entire thing into the record?
You may.
Thank you.
Point of order.
So, Judge Vermin, drama, season finale. Dear somewhat esteemed members of the Libertarian Party, I, the Honorable Justice Vermin Supreme, hereby and forthwith and other similar words, do tender my tender resignation from the Judicial Committee of the LP. The results of the present convention's elections indicate my esteemed status as a black-robed justice may be diminished in a party wishing to be more welcoming to those in the white-robe crowd. Bigotry is irrational and repugnant. With that, Judge Vermin Supreme removes his robe for the last time, naked except for 3 neckties and the boot on his head. Judge Vermin sets his highly flammable robe of flame, swinging it around. He hurls it over the bench onto his chair. The chair bursts into flames, and then the curtains. The entire courtroom is soon engulfed in flames. Judge Vermin, having grabbed his long gun from behind the burning bench, began laughing maniacally as he spins around the room, firing short bursts at the fire, trying to shoot it out, apparently. "This is fine! This is fine!" he screams as a burning beam fell from the ceiling, crushing him dead. His last words before dying will always be remembered. Maybe drama is greater than the bylaws.
Vermin.
Excellent.
You know,
that was excellent.
Speaking of the Judicial Committee, the whole idea has always been kind of dumb, but this is exactly what it was supposed to prevent. We were told for years and years and years the Judicial Committee will stop a takeover. The Judicial Committee will strike down any platform changes that violate the statement of principles. Okay, good luck with that.
No, I know exactly.
Hi, Josh. I've never hated or blocked Vermin. I still disagree that he running for president wasn't a great idea. Vermin's a lot nicer than a lot of his supporters, though, in my experience.
Okay, so what's going on? Do we know what's going on at the convention right now?
Yeah, sort of. It was only sort of. Karen Ann is at the podium right now. The lights have been dimmed, and she's. Let me see. Maybe I can.
Would read whenever any form of government becomes.
Oh, and they just froze.
Well, that's good.
No.
Yeah,
that sounded like she was reading from the Declaration of Independence.
Alter, abolish, or withdraw from it.
Yeah.
She's doing she's still the platform committee chair. They're probably onto that. That's what they're doing. They just did platform deletion stuff. So she's
gotta say,
because the same LNC that removed her still put her on the platform committee, which she then managed to become chair of. So I was on a platform committee once with her as chair. It's not fun.
I can only imagine. But why are the lights dimmed? This looks like a high school play. Go ahead, Archie.
I would just like to say that Karen Ann reading the Declaration of Independence has got to be like, Darth Vader reading the holy Jedi text, because, like, she's not independent. She is totally dependent on the fucking Mises Caucus. Mm-hmm. She's the den mother that's up Michael Heiss's ass.
I don't think he was reading the Declaration.
Her and Hagopian are competing to squeeze up his sphincter.
She sat down for a moment. The chair guy said something, and then she stood up and dramatically removed her glasses, waved her paper around, put her glasses back on, and now she's back at the podium.
We have a comment from Jacob Winograd, and I want to touch this as well because.
Oh, hi, Jacob!
Whoa, Archie, you're a little loud in my ear there. You're going to blow my eardrum.
Jacob, your stupid is showing again. Once again, your stupid is showing blatantly.
Or I'll just
I'll actually address this, if I might.
Yeah, Andy, go for it.
You've spent the past few years spewing your diarrhea in the swimming pool. No, I'm not going to go recruit more people to get into the pool and fight you for control over it. I'm just going to
close the pool.
Hey, Jacob,
get out of the pool and fucking nuke it. Jacob, Can I say something before you, Brian?
Yeah, of course, Archie. Go right ahead.
In one of our intros, you talk about, well, there might be a real Nazi that comes along, blah, 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 fucking blah, blah, blah. But we'd never know because the Fakertarians are crying Nazi. Hey, there are Nazis in your fucking midst, Jacob. Open your fucking eyes. It's called Ryan fucking Dawson. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob was defending Tom Woods earlier today to me.
Jacob, Oh, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just talking about the Tom Woods thing. He was going off to me today, like, oh, he's not a predator. Like, you haven't even proven that there's one victim, and for some reason, groomers would have more than one victim, or else they're not a groomer. It's like the little fine print in the groomer definition. There's little asterisks at the end that they have to have more than one victim. I don't know. I guess that's
okay. I'm biting my tongue right now, or I'm gonna yell.
I'm going to talk to Jacob for just a moment. I want to address him for a moment. I want to tell you something, Jacob Winograd. You're a heretic. You're not a Christian. You don't do anything that reflects Christianity whatsoever. What you are is some sort of an evangelical dominionist. And let me tell you, my good friend, when you reach the golden gates of the great beyond, you will not be welcomed in with welcome arms. You use Jesus's name in vain constantly. You constantly take the Lord's name in vain by the things you say and espouse. Therefore, my friend, enjoy your time of burning in hell, because that's where you will be and that's where you belong, you anti-Christian fuck.
Didn't you say that Dave and Tom, or no, Dave and Heiss were like Jesus or something like that?
Yeah,
Hey,
sure
Jacob.
did. Yeah,
Jacob, I'm curious.
That's what I'm talking about, heresy.
Jacob, I'm really curious. So Ryan Dawson uses imagery of Zyklon B. What will it actually take for you to actually admit that Ryan Dawson is a Nazi? Will you need to see Ryan actually lick Hitler's taint? Is that your standard for being a Nazi? I just need to know this.
Well, that's kind of like Dave's whole deal, that there is no such thing as the alt-right. How dare you, like you press them for an example. Okay, who would be over the line, and they'll never admit it because there is nobody. There is nobody that's over the line. There is no line. I mean, these people will be welcomed with open arms if they wanted to show up to an LP convention with Mises in charge.
So
it's just it's a very ridiculously bad faith thing.
So if we're talking about Ryan Dawson not being a Nazi, I actually have a quick video I want to share from our Twitter. It's only 31 seconds, so we'll see if this guy sounds like a Nazi, and see who we have defending him in the comments. Give me 1 second.
They're satanic. You look at it. Child pedophilia, Jews. Pornography, Jews. Organ trafficking, Jews. Central banking, Jews. Lying about war, Jews. The neocons, Jews. Communists, Jews. Pick a fucking lie. There they are. It's them every time. And for no reason at all, they elected Adolf Hitler.
John, I think he really likes.
Did I catch that right? Is he saying the Jews elected Hitler?
No, he's saying that the reason
the Jews,
that Hitler was erected.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and then so that video right there, the thumbnail used to be a picture of Zyklon B, and the ending was him wondering how you get rid of parasites.
This guy ranting about how evil the Jews are, and that's out of context. Context do you think there is to that?
What's the context, Jacob? Please tell us what
he's talking about. So he uses the word Zionist earlier. So he'll say he's using Jews as shorthand for Zionist, which is
Jacob. You want to come on right now? If I'm a dumbass and everyone else is here is presumably in the same boat, do you want to come on and prove that we're dumbasses? Yes or no, Jacob?
Winograd's too busy praying to his false god.
He had a Zyklon B picture as the thumbnail for the video. Like, what else do you need there?
So it's like that's that.
I think he needs a picture of Ryan Dawson actually licking Hitler's asshole.
It's like that character from Inglourious Bastards who you've seen the GIF where he's dressed up in his full Waffen SS uniform and he's like, oh, so everyone you don't like now is a Nazi.
Out of context.
That's just out of context.
I mean, if I were to quote, for instance, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in some point that I might agree with her on, your fucking friends and you, Jacob, would probably call me a soy-cucked leftist. So go fuck yourself with the largest object nearest you.
That's enough, Jacob. I do want to mention one point though, which is, you have all been most admirably on this beat for a good long time now. But as was very predictable, exactly how awful they are is now getting a whole lot of attention. It turns out if you don't want people looking into the things you've said and how awful they are, taking over a political party is not a good way to get less criticism. So
earned media.
Earned media. Yep.
Yeah. No, the Reason article was, and Reason hasn't always been consistently the best, I would say, on coverage of this whole thing. But the Brian Doherty's piece was very good, very honest, and laid it all out. There was the SPLC thing. I mean, I'm seeing people, both bigger names in kind of broader libertarian circles, but also just total non-libertarians just sharing and dunking on it. That Mises article piece about, hey guys, Hitler wasn't really that bad, is one of the ones making rounds.
Read that and just said, I'm going to throw that on the website. Like,
if they thought we were mean and nasty to them, like, all right, guys, dog that caught the car, here you go. Let's see how y'all run with this platform and what kind of reaction you get. And it's to the degree they get attention at all, it's going to be stuff like this.
Hey, Karen Ann just gave Chair Dude a bottle of, it looked like cinnamon stuff. What's that called?
Fireball?
Fireball. Thank you, John. Yeah. She just handed him a bottle of Fireball. He now has a cup, and it looks like Orange Kiss.
Not unprecedented.
I don't know what's happening.
Like a cocktail, though.
It sounds horrible. Like, oh, now they're pouring it into a cup together. Are they going to play Dirty Cookie?
So I have a screenshot up here with Heiss saying that it's a badge of honor to be called out by the SPLC.
Yeah.
He's not refuting any of the points in this. He's just saying, "Oh, this is a badge of honor because they must be soy."
Well, because there's no points to refute.
They just got rid of the bigotry language to the platform. Like,
right? Yeah.
How much more obvious do you have to be? The fact that
I'll be honest, I'm glad that passed because I didn't want it being deniable.
Don't
save them from themselves. Let them do that.
The irony.
Spike with his nonsense compromise language, like that really doesn't make it look much better, dude.
No, all his
what was
compromise
wrong with what you had that you needed to change it?
His compromise language is the exact same language that every municipality uses in their hiring process. That's all that is.
I mean, honestly,
except it was a much shorter list. It was like, if I remember right, it was race, ethnicity, etc. Like they wouldn't even say sex, like sex discrimination. That was too far for them, much less, orientation or gender identity.
And like the fact that this thing that they're compromising on though is like, he might as well have said, it's crazy to like drink this whole bottle of bleach, so let's just drink half. Why did we even need to compromise on that?
Right, drink the whole bottle.
But the fact that their plan to get rid of the bigotry plank came out the same day as the SPLC article was just amazing.
The timing was beautiful.
No, it's amazing.
Is Spike a bigot theocrat too?
No, he just enables them.
Yeah, he's an enabler, Jacob. You dominionist fuck.
Oh, hi, Jacob. You're still here? Come on the show. Come on, Jacob. Come on the show.
So I guess
Spike is just an
that's most
enabler.
of the only other thing I guess we haven't heard on the platform is they wanted to delete that, but that was a proposal, so all they have to do is not take it up on the immigration.
Okay, I will admit kiddos do come before debate. I'll give you that one.
We'll have you on another time.
Yeah, so he can defend the.
And we can play the full Ryan Dawson clip where we don't take him out of context in the 30 seconds that he's ranting about the Jews being responsible for all the world problems and saying that Hitler was elected because of them.
Yeah.
I mean, so much missing context.
Can we do for if we're gonna play the whole damn video, can we like edit the video so that we have like our disclaimer over the video at least?
Yeah.
Like, this is Ryan Dawson, this is not us. We think he's scum, something like that. Like,
yeah, I can make that happen.
No, I just wanted to say this douche hates Jews. Simple as that. Put that over the top of it. Ryan Dawson and his methy eyes.
yes, let's not stare. Yeah, I know that's a typo. I'm kidding.
Do we have anything else we want to touch on today before we wrap up?
Hey, it's over.
We don't want to touch on anything. We don't want to touch on anything.
I just wanted to make one
That's
last
a
comment
groomer that wants to touch.
about Jacob's stupidity. Is like every time I think it can't get bigger, it just gets bigger. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
I just think a lot of Mises members they'll defend literally anything. And I mean, we just had a guy on the screen ranting about Jews, and it's out of context because he's like friends with Dave Smith. Like literally anything almost. Like I'm wondering what the line is. Like grooming kids is fine. Ranting about
there is
Jews
no
is
line.
fine.
Dave Smith
Wishing happy birthday to Joe Bishop Henchman.
There you go. Yep, there's the line.
Yeah.
Wishing happy birthday.
Being a decent person, that's the line.
Yeah. Eric being a decent person was the line.
That's the line.
But I bet if Eric had ranted about Jews in the video, it would have been fine. Because it would have been.
They would have loved it.
He wouldn't do that. I'm not accusing him of that.
Condemn Joe Bishop Henchman all we want to, because he's a bad evil dude. But if you say a damn mean, nasty thing about Nick Fuentes, you are the shit of the world.
Yep.
Okay, so I want to address this comment here where he says, John, you're lying. You know I remove people across lines. You have removed some people in the past. I mean, it's been a little bit wishy-washy, but I will give you credit. You've removed some people, but you're literally defending a guy on video who's ranting about the Jews and saying they're responsible for Hitler being elected when the thumbnail for the video was a Zyklon B thumbnail. And he's a Holocaust denier.
And how many times? And how many times has he been on the David Duke show? 17.
Something like that.
Since 2019. Yeah.
They finally got Ryan Dawson.
So here's the thing: like Ryan Dawson is basically as Nazi as you can get without actually being Goebbels or Hitler. Like, you can't get more Ryan Dawson-y you can't get more Hitler-y than Ryan Dawson, other than being Hitler. Like,
and what's he call himself on Twitter? Oven magnet? Let me tell you something, Ryan Dawson. You like ovens so much? Go in and pull yourself a Sylvia Plath, would you? Do us all a favor.
I think that account was banned, and then another account of his was banned. And he just keeps getting banned from Twitter.
What are you saying, Andy?
What'd you say, Andy?
Oh, I was just saying he said he had been registered as a Democrat. I asked if this was in Georgia in 1958.
Oh God. Okay. Do we have anything else we want to touch on before we wrap up?
Oh, John, I could go on for hours, but I think
okay. Wait a minute.
That's right. I did want to point out the $3,500 at the gala.
Oh yeah. Let me find that post.
Yeah, it was 35, and usually that number is in the tens of thousands. It pushed 100,000 once recently. I mean,
but here are the numbers for how much the LNC is. It Gala or Gala? How do you pronounce that word?
Gala.
Okay, so here's the past what's been raised at the convention galas. If my dog will stop growling right now. So 2014, $23,000. 2016, $105,000. 2018, $93,000. 2020, $37,000. This year, $3,500.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out.
Oh, I actually have something to.
I
comment
think
about this.
that Mr. Hagopian's treasurer magical skill will make it all okay.
Actually, we can address my second point. I'll address Michael's comment that just popped up there. But on the money thing, here's the keys to the kingdom, guys. Congratulations, you have a pile of red debt and no donors, and the party is, for all intents and purposes, bankrupt. People stopped giving money to the party. They've been running massive deficits for months now. Their membership has been falling off. Donors have been fleeing. They've been running a deficit of like $50,000 a month or something like that. They're only making payroll because they had to take out a line of credit on that useless building they have in Alexandria. But that's literally all about. That's about all they're getting. The Twitter account, and a dead donor list, and rapidly piling up debt and legal obligations. So have fun.
And these people aren't experts in anything, and they don't know how to handle it. It's just going to be hilarious.
I would like to make one point though about Fuentes. Marjorie Taylor Greene, as stupid as she is, knows that she still needs to distance herself from that shithead. Dave still defends Nick.
He tipped his hat to him for triggering the right people. And dude's like a white nationalist.
Yes, he tipped his hat to him. On an alt-writers podcast.
That's it.
Yeah. Define alt-right.
Yeah, good point there, Tim, regarding that.
Yeah,
the Mises PAC that raised the money to pay delegates, even though there's no federal election to influence. And
would have been actually, it's another thing, would have been illegal at a presidential convention. But on the assault, I looked into this trying to figure out what happened. So basically, a Mises Caucus guy who was at the Ron Paul event, got his picture with Ron Paul, got into a scuffle and assaulted a non-binary person. I'm blanking on the last name.
I think it's Gabrick or Gabrick. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're active and outright libertarians. So that's just kind of the perfect encapsulation. You can appeal to hateful bigots, or you can appeal to their intended victims, but you're not going to have both in the same room for very long. And the Libertarian Party's made its choice.
Yeah. So, anything else we want to do before we wrap up? I know Ozzy was in the comments saying that I need to plug the Twitch, so I'll do that before we shoot everything down. But Brian,
I have a couple things. There was a comment up there just a moment ago. Apparently, the convention is not over. They just no longer have the audio-visual people there, so they are conducting it now using bullhorns.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I saw on Twitter, I don't know if this is related. I saw on Twitter that Becca Congdon, who's great and is the current LNC communications director, after the previous one already quit, was tweeting about the platform, about the bigotry plank. And so, God bless. I feel bad for the good people who are left on staff. They're all going to get fired or quit in the next 6 months at longest.
Are they holding the rest of the convention in front of a Four Seasons Total Landscaping?
Isn't Darrell Brooks a delegate? I'm pretty sure he is the star witness from that. So it's perfect.
You mean old penis shower?
Now wait a minute. We can't get away with that, Brian, until we use Google for 5 minutes.
He was showing his penis out of context.
Oh! I think that's a good point to wrap up on.
Okay, so
I don't know we can top penis out of context.
Okay, so thanks to everyone for watching. I have to plug, so we're at facebook.com/Fakertarians, twitter.com/Fakertarians, youtube.com/C/Fakertarians. You can subscribe there. And then we have twitch.tv/Fakertarians podcast. So if you guys could subscribe to the YouTube and the Twitch. We're trying to grow them a little bit. And I guess to everybody else, we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye. Bye.